Dude,
Did
yo,
something happen?
here in Paimon, I actually don't. You know what? I actually don't even want to listen to this. Or maybe we change it to Japanese. After seeing the voice actor for Paimon, like how she's been just exploding on everyone on the internet, bro, and how like she was like lashing out at the voice actor who replaced was it Kenichi or something like that? How she like lashed out at this person, like pretty much trying to like ruin his work, ruin his job. Bro, I have a whole new different light on Paimon's English voice actor. Like, holy shit, it was bad. It is bad. Like the craziness, the manipulation, the oh my goodness, bro. Like this lady is bonkers. Absolutely freaking bonkers. Palma, if y'all have not seen this, just look it up. Go on to X or something like that and look up. You'll find plenty of videos of her. They're her videos. They're her videos responding to stuff and saying stuff. Now, it's not like it's not some random person, trying to make stuff up. No, it's her. It's her, bro. Like, look this stuff up. It is crazy. Dude. Like this English, the English voice actor for Paimon is off the walls. And for those of y'all who want a little bit more context to the situation, pretty much, it's like this. I describe it as a strong arm because that's pretty much what it was. But the context behind this is that Genshin Impact is a non-union game, meaning Hoyoverse isn't bound by SAG-AFTRA's interactive media agreement. Some English voice actors, including both union and non-union members, withheld their services during the strike to push for Hoyoverse to sign an interim agreement that would include AI protections. And so, like, for example, the voice actor of Kenichi, the original voice actor of Kenichi, which is this character right here, well, he stated that he stopped providing voice work because Hoyoverse wouldn't agree to these protections that they were trying to get, okay? So that was the whole situation there. That's why he stopped. But, he didn't have to. But this led, of course, to his recasting. So, yeah, naturally, this strike's been going on since like July of 2024. And, Hoyoverse is not bound by this. You have all these people striking. Okay, well, this eventually this leads to your recast. Plain and simple. This is not anything that's surprising. Let's be completely honest here. But at any rate, other actors like those voicing Paimon continue working despite the strike. Right? So Paimon's voice actor continued working despite the strike, which is an inconsistency to this whole thing because like you're fighting for the strike, yet Paimon's working the whole time during the strike, and then you're attacking people because they're not doing the strike, and yet you're working. It's just a whole bunch of inconsistencies and like mental gymnastics craziness going on in this whole situation. But further on, let's continue. The strike itself targets some major studios, but Hoyoverse really is not involved in this. The Hoyoverse doesn't work through the same people, so they're not really involved in this. So some people view this as a way to align with union goals, and other people view it as an overreach. Quite frankly, I think it's just strong arming. Given Genshin, Hoyoverse is a non-union game. It's Hoyoverse doesn't really agree with unions in the first place, and that's just how that works. Hoyoverse is a Chinese company; they don't really agree with unions and stuff like that, and that's perfectly fine per se them. So you can't really sit here and try to strong arm all this nonsense going on, but there's different legal constraints as well. But pretty much this whole thing is trying to force them to unionize with them. SAG-AFTRA's broader strategy involves encouraging studios to sign interim agreements to keep production moving while negotiations continue. Over 180 studios have signed such deals, but Hoyoverse hasn't, likely due to its non-union stance and global operations. Now, of course, actors withholding work is a standard strike tactic, but targeting a non-union game like Genshin can feel like pressure to some, right? Especially when replacements are brought in, sparking backlash from union supporters. But I mean, realistically speaking, what do you expect is going to happen? What did you think was going to happen this whole time? Let's be completely honest. If you're doing this stuff, if you're on these strikes, and these it's clearly that's the thing about strikes. They can work or they cannot work. Depends on how much leverage I guess you really have. Now, in this situation, this is a video game, and Hoyoverse is a big company that has a lot of different other video games. This isn't like the shipyard strike that happened with the shipyard workers, right? Where it's like, yeah, that completely cuts off the entire economy. It doesn't quite work like that, y'all. It does not quite work like that. It doesn't work in the same manner. So you don't have that leverage that you have. But nonetheless, moving on into here, pretty much Paimon's actor, which is Corina Botsger, is she has gone crazy full send on everybody. And it's not only her, but it's a whole list of these Genshin Impact voice actors. As you can see here, as mentioned in this article, that kind of highlights a whole bunch of different voice actors who are kind of promoting, attacking this Kenichi replacement. It gets pretty extensive, but Paimon's like the ringleader, pretty much. Paimon's this over the top. Karina Butker is this over the top individual who is just completely detached from reality in every way, shape, and form. Now, there's other contexts and videos that you can find that go deeper into this. I'm not going to go fully deep into it, but pretty much she's posted these crazy videos on on her page on her TikTok, and then she tries to fully dismiss them whenever there's criticism about them, to the point where she literally is like, oh well, this was AI, this wasn't real. Yet they were posted to her. She's the one who posted these to her TikTok. Yet they're AI and they're not real. Once they're criticized, there's a whole lot of stuff doesn't make sense there. But nonetheless, this whole little article here kind of highlights a lot of these voice actors who have been lashing out at Kenichi, the new Kenichi voice actor, for taking that role, which the new voice actor didn't really even know. It's like, yo, he got a job offer, he took it. Big deal. He's not tied down to this nonsense that's going on with this. And pretty much that's the whole situation here with the SAG-AFTRA strike that's going on and with Kenichi. So as you can see here, there's a whole list of voice actors that have been partaking in this and have been pretty much guilt tripping. That's the horrible part. They're pretty much guilt tripping this guy for taking this job position when they're on strike, for not standing with the cause, quote unquote. For standing with the cause. They're literally guilt tripping this guy. This is a prime example of what we call cancel culture, which y'all know I despise and I highly, highly dislike. Because all it creates is situations like these, where there's no dialogue, where everyone's kind of forced into this echo chamber, where no one has an actual individual thought, and everyone's just a collective thought, and everyone just becomes toxic as all booty cheeks. That's what cancel culture is. That's what this situation is, where they're trying to guilt trip this guy, and everyone's just ganging up on him for taking a freaking job offer. Y'all didn't want the job. Y'all were on strike. So, look, someone's going to take it. Someone's going to take the job. If y'all, you know what I'm saying? Like, it is what it is. But anyways, that's the update on the situation. So hopefully that helps a little bit as we keep on continuing. Yeah, you were about to say the VA for Paimon was crazy. Yeah, the English VA for Paimon is crazy. Yeah, she is crazy, man. Like, it really makes me look at Paimon a lot different, honestly speaking. Just like the whole thing surrounding that too. And the whole thing surrounding that whole strike too, that's kind of been coming out to light. That's really just saying that a lot of the Genshin stuff wasn't even really affected, and that they could have been doing the voice acting on the English version, but they were simply opting not to try to force and strong arm Genshin to sign a contract with the union, pretty much locking all of them in. You know what I'm saying? Like they were trying to force and strong arm Genshin to lock in with the union, which is like effed up as hell, bro. You know what I'm saying? Like, but realistically, Genshin was never actually impacted from that strike that was going on. Like, they could have all been just doing their stuff the whole time. That's the crazy part. Like, the more information that's revealed about that whole situation, the more I'm like, bro, fire every single one of them. Sorry, but it is what it is. I said it. The more that gets revealed about the whole situation, I'm just like, bro, fire every single one of those English voice actors. Not every single one of them. Because not all of them have been participating in it. But you get what I'm saying. And the more I hear about it, the more I'm also like, bro, yep, this is probably why they're going to move to AI very soon. Y'all are fighting fighting, quote unquote, more like trying to strong arm someone to a position that they shouldn't be in. But you're fighting, quote unquote, for for your job as voice actors and to have securities in the future, whatnot, as AI emerges. But what you're really doing is, if I'm in their position, all I'm seeing here is a really strong case to move to AI much effing quicker. That's all I'm seeing. That's all I'm seeing, bro. If I'm in the case of Hoya of Genshin and I'm seeing this unfold on the English side, that's all that's making me think. It's like, oh, dude, like, bro, this AI stuff, yeah, this is starting to look more and more welcoming. Whereas I probably wouldn't have been thinking that had the whole thing never happened. I'd be like, yeah, yeah. I'd probably be supporting. I'd be like, yeah, yeah. Always keep AI out of it. Keep the real voice actors. Yeah, keep them all in. You know what I'm saying? I probably would be much, much more for it and for more long term in that regard if I were them. But like seeing this and the way it's unfold and the way it's like the strong arm behavior and it's just like all this stuff, it's like, bro. No, no. When I get to making bigger games, I'm just gonna use AI voice actors. Darth Vader is already AI voice. Well, yeah, but he gave rights for that, didn't he? I believe he actually gave rights for that to have his voice use James Earl Jones. I believe that was actually documented. Like he actually like flat out gave rights for that to have his voice use uh, as the voice of Darth Vader for the future. I believe so, if I recall correctly. So that's like that. There's nothing wrong with that. There's legalities behind that already. So
Let's go take a look.
let's go take a look. Like, bro, it's like seriously, dude. Now when I hear Paimon's voice, all I see is her voice actor like lashing out and being crazy.
Chill, bro. I'm thinking.
That's all I see now. Like, I can't look at Paimon the same, bro.
Right? What a little change.
I cannot look at Paimon the same. They need to get rid of that voice actor, honestly.
Despite all the pain he must be in.
Like,
did he fight in the war?
like I said it. They do. They need to get rid of Paimon's English voice actor. Plain and simple. That's right. That is issues. That's problems. She has to go. She gotta go. Plain and simple. Spike content.